Welcome everyone, I'm the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Lobotomy Corporation, Face the Fear, Build the Future. So this game is I guess you could say it's kind of like a worker management type game, but it does have a little bit more going on with it. A lot of its lore is very, what's the term, SCP, which if you're not familiar with any of that, there's a few games out there that kind of go into the SCP stuff. I believe there's SCP Containment Breach. Essentially, I think as far as like where it came from, it's like a bunch of like posts that are just about various things that are literally just labeled SCP and then like a number code or something like that, and then each of them are like some weird thing to say the it's pretty broad as far as like what the variety of things there are in SCP. Lobotomy is its own lore, but I guess you can say the idea is kind of very SCP-like, I guess you can say. Also, by the way, this little start screen, the title screen does not appear until you click, so that's just something to be aware of. I know now one thing about this game is it's all about research and learning about the unknown. So essentially this entire playthrough is going to be big spoilers. So if you do find yourself interested in this game, I would say try to consider maybe watching this after you get the game yourself and play it. I do know a few spoilers already because I did watch some gameplay because I wanted to see what it was like. I've been pretty curious about this game for a while. It's been on my wish list. And then I decided to go ahead and just see what some of the gameplay is like, and it's definitely pretty. I mean, it's definitely very sim-like, but there's definitely some mechanics to it that are kind of interesting that you don't. Very active mechanics that are things you probably don't see too often in too many sims. Story. Okay, so we don't have anything right. I have not played anything of this yet myself. I am familiar with at least the beginning, though I will do my best to play as someone who hasn't played it yet, because like I mentioned before, if you know the information about the things you're dealing with, I mean, it's still going to probably still be difficult as the game progresses, but in the beginning it'll just be very trivial because you'll know exactly what to do. And there's all these conversations we haven't unlocked, and there's multiple endings and so forth, and the Ceto light stuff. Don't know what that means. Synchronizing. Did my volume go up? No, it didn't. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and do the tutorial because, like I said, I haven't played this game before. There's a codex here. Okay, we have literally no information. So, the Lobotomy Corporation, as far as like, I guess we're gonna get more story, but the idea is that you're managing this corporation here, and its entire purpose, as far as we know, is they have a bunch of these unknown creatures or beings or objects or things, essentially, that not, I guess the term is abnormalities that are contained, and the idea is to draw power from them, to use them as a power source, as well as, you know, do research and all that stuff. So that's the general gist of it. There's definitely a lot more to it, and this game's going to be pretty wacky. This game does, from what I've seen from some reviews, there is a little bit of religious context. So if you try not to be offended, I guess is the best advice I can give. This game is very heavy on the lore. Really, that's kind of the main draw of this. So there's going to be a lot of reading, a lot of dialogue, and even more reading as I explore and learn about what's in this setting. So if you're one of those people who doesn't like me reading or hearing my voice a lot, you're going to hear it a lot in this video and this playthrough. And this is going to be probably a very slow game for the beginning because I have to explain things or learn things as I go. Anyway, let's do the tutorial. Okay, so there's 3 tutorials. We'll start with abnormality. Accelerate energy convection, Activate mini memory repository, run Sephora something. Hello, manager. Welcome to Lobotomy Corporation. Starting today, you are responsible for managing abnormalities we have and ensuring we meet the daily energy quota, like I mentioned before. And this is Angela. You can move the camera around with WASD or your keyboard, or by pressing and holding the secondary mouse button, then dragging the mouse. You can zoom in or out with F and G on your keyboard, or by scroll wheeled on your mouse. Let's try a simple maneuver. When you hover your mouse over an employee, some information about them will be revealed. Please try selecting an employee by pressing the primary mouse button. So we got other characters here. You can see there's Gamel. There's Gamel. That's a Gamel there. They have different looks to them. And then we got Samuel here, who is not looking very happy to be here. A lazy new employee. So these are our employees. Mousing over them, we can see that they have various stats. They do have 2 equipment slots. They have a weapon slot and a suit slot. And then they have essentially 4 stats. Fortitude influences your max HP. Prudence affects your max SP. The text is really small. Temperance affects work success rate and work speed. And then Justice affects attack speed and movement speed. And then as far as the equipment, there are different damage types in this game, and your suit can provide various resistances and vulnerabilities based off type. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. I don't know if I don't hear any music, so I don't know if it got really low or not. Anyway, click Q. Well done. The information displayed in the bar on the right now is related to the selected employee. Some of it might be of importance, such as their state values and ego equipment. Please look in the manual at the Employees article for details about what these mean. On the bar on the top left here shows the amount of energy you need to collect for the day. On the top right, you can find what missions you are able to clear today. So we got no energy right now. We need to get up to 20. And then we have, for our missions, we have Manager Education, Complete Work, 0 of 3. Energy can be produced when a product called positive enkephalin is released by an abnormality, something it might do when it is being worked on. Please select a containment unit that holds an abnormality with a primary mouse button. So we got, this is our containment unit, and it has a thing in there. Looks like a dummy. Since you have yet to learn any information about this abnormality, you have no way of knowing how well it will respond to any work. In order to find out, an employee has to perform work with it. So for now, please select the first type of work available, instinct work. So there's 4 types of works in this game, and it may or may not affect how well it works on certain abnormalities. All right, instinct. Instinct work is conducted to satisfy abnormalities, primal and physiological desires. An employee who conducts instinct work will increase their fortitude at the end of the day, which increases their health points, also their HP. So this guy has, despite this guy being a lazy new employee, he actually starts at tier 2 in all of his stats, which is actually pretty impressive. Anyway. Movement speed slow, level 2 instinct. We just click this to pick him. The different types of work you can request. Let's see, the different types of work you can request your employees. Oh, I missed it. I apologize. Here, you know what? This is what we'll do. We'll quit the tutorial and try again. So what I should have done is there is a pause, so I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that pause. The reason I got stumbled on the words there is the translation is not the best. In fact, what is this? Oh, so that's just a new game. No. Alright, so tutorial. The translation is a bit off, to say the least, and furthermore, when I started this game, initially, it was all in Japanese to begin with. So I actually had to set it myself. Alright, so, oh good. There's Itad and Ital, and this time we have Mason. Okay, click you, yep, okay. Oh, I can't do it. Different types of work request you employees to perform and abnormalities have different results. These results are different for each abnormality. The success rate also varies per type of work and is different per abnormality as well. Okay, so I couldn't pause it, it wouldn't let me. It can be quite straining for the fragile mind when someone meets an abnormality. If your employee isn't ready enough, it may make the abnormality seem frightening or disturbing to them. As such, they may react severely towards facing it, and it can lower their sanity points, also known as SP. Right now he's calm, or she's calm in this case. Alright. 0-00-00 is a dummy who thinks he's an employee of this facility. So all the abnormalities, until you identify them, are labeled by number, by essentially a simple code. Once you learn what they are, they will be named properly. The text in the bottom left, there's a text log down here, unfortunately is absolutely tiny, and there's not really a way for us to edit it. Also, we have a little meter that's filling up there. An abnormality releases enkephalin when employees work with them. We collect this into boxes. Depending on how well the employee performs the work, the abnormality will respond positive or negative. When it reacts positively, it will release positive enkephalin, which produces a PE box. So you can see there's little pop-ups here that kind of say what it's doing at this time. And the music's working again, so that's good. If, however, the abnormality reacts negatively, it will release negative enkephalins instead and damage the employee. You should keep in mind that when an employee's health or sanity drops completely, the work is then forcefully ended. Seems like people. And then this is just like a bunch of actions, essentially. Alright. So, looks like we got more positive than negative, so that's good. And there's that +9 up there. There's a little box up in the top right as well. Test condition stimulus, instrumental conditioning, allocate 37% cognito, empower self-preservation. So these little pop-ups just happen as you kind of enter various... It's different for every abnormality as you enter it, and it kind of depends on what you're doing as well. 0-00, also these little flavor text will pop up as well, so it's definitely pretty important, useful to kind of pay attention. 0-00-00 feels sad about employee Mason leaving. It seems to want to follow them. The abnormality's mood might change depending on the outcome of the work done on it. The outcome can be predicted based on the amount of PE boxes we obtain thanks to the work. An abnormality has generally 3 ways of responding to it: good, neutral, and bad. It may use a special ability or try to escape depending on the outcome. When the work is finished, the energy generated and PE boxes are collected. The PE boxes are stored and shown in the abnormality's PE box counter, which is right here. Each abnormality produces a unique set of PE boxes, which can be used to unlock abnormality's information details, increase the observation level you have with it, or to extract ego from it. And then up here, you can see we got 9 of the meter. After work has been performed with it, the same abnormality cannot be worked with for a short period of time. In the meantime, you can send your employee to other abnormalities to work with those or let them heal up. When the regenerator gouge fills up completely, employees in the main room will be healed. It will restore both their HP and sanity. So we can't do anything for now. As you can see, we're getting the boxes now, so we got 9 for it. This thing's cooling down. And then when this thing fills up, every time it fills up, it heals everybody in this room. Let's try ordering an employee to do a different type of work in a slightly different way. Click on the employee using the primary mouse button. Then use the secondary mouse button on the abnormality containment unit. We still don't know much about this abnormality, so let's try ordering the employee to perform insight work on it. Insight work is conducted to improve the environment the abnormality resides in. An employee who conducts insight work will increase their prudence at the end of the day, which increases their sanity points. So once again, and we got these other people that are just walking around. They do technically do stuff. Let's just not get careless. seems to like people, is circling around Mason, but Mason is absorbed to his work. He's thinking about the center of the world, feels sad leaving, and seems to want to follow them. This time we got 10 boxes. You now have collected enough of this Admirality's PE boxes. It's time to learn about observation. Please press the label bar displayed on top of the containment unit. For now, it displays the subject number, but after unlocking its basic information, its name will be displayed here instead. This is the information we currently have on the said Admiralty. As you can see, we don't have much knowledge about it yet, as most of it's locked away. You need to spend some of your unique PE boxes we collected from the Admiralty in order to gain specific information. Please try to unlock the basic information about the Admiralty. Cost 1 box. We have 19. Details concerning the management process of the Admiralty are displayed here. If there is something the Admiralty doesn't like, it can result in a decrease of its Quilfoth counter, or Quilfoth counter, and cause problems in energy production. So make sure you unlock and read these thoroughly. Please try to unlock it now. How the Admiralities would react towards the different types of work is displayed here. The more preferred the work is, the higher the success rate will be. The number on the left of it indicates the level of the work an employee has to have with it for the displayed success rate to count. Please unlock all the work favor guidelines. So yeah, to learn which work actually works best, besides trial and error, you just reveal them. So this one is all of them. Instinct works well on all levels. Now the levels here, now you might be confused about the Roman numerals over here compared to what's over here. These Roman numerals are based off the Roman numerals that are on the specific character, the employee that's studying it. So in this case, our employee right now has instinct level 2, insight level 2, repression level 2, and attachment level 2. So in this case, you can see 2 is still high. Insight work, high for everything. Attachment work, very high for everything. And then repression work. Let's proceed. This area here shows what maximum Q counter value of the Admiralty is. It will also show whether or not the Admiralty will escape when the Q counter reaches 0, as well as how resistant it is to certain types of damage after it escapes, which is something you need to know to manage such situation. Please unlock the escape information. Okay. You are now finished with the observation of this Admiralty. As you unlock information details, the observation level of the Admiralty is increased, and will give benefits when working with the Admiralty, such as increased work speed and success rate. As you increase the observation level and reach a certain point, you'll be capable of extracting ego equipment, or EGO, from the Admiralty at the cost of PE boxes. Ego weapons are powerful tools that can help with suppressing Admiralities. Please extract an ego weapon. So this costs just 1 PE box to do, and essentially this is a training standard ego. The Teth level does white damage, 5 to 7, speed normal, range is short. An ego suit offers an increased resistance to certain types of damage. Some types of damage might come in harder than others depending on what ego suit the employee uses. Please extract an ego suit. So yeah, this one gives various resistances. Essentially they're multipliers. So white it does regular damage, black you take 50% extra, pale you take double, and then red you take half. Well done. You can see that the ego gift, the Admiralty has a chance on passing to an employee here. If this area is unlocked, when an employee finishes work with the Admiralty, they have a chance to receive the ego gift displayed here. Usually the chances of this happening are slim. So there's well in this case 100% drop chance, but usually it's like 2 or 3%. Essentially it gives you a helmet or a hat. And this one would give the employee +2 health and +2 SP, or sanity points. Now lastly, let's check the Admiralty's observation record. Please click on the Admiralty story. You can see the observation records of the Admiralty here. Entries can be added as your observation level increases. Looks like we reviewed everything, so let's close this information window. Please press leave. A dummy abnormality used to train soon-to-be managers. Some rumors say it became a training abnormality since it is most docile and tame. It's called Dummy Rabbit, but doesn't seem to like carrots. It likes people. If it escapes, it is merely following the person who is leaving. So yeah, there was kind of that little bit of hints in the flavor text as we were working on it. That was like, hey, it looks kind of sad about you leaving type of situation. Also, this Teth is the class of the abnormality. There are multiple classes, and they have their own. It's kind of like a ranking system, essentially. In SCP, they had their own ranking system as well. It's not necessarily strength, but more like effect, I guess. Essentially, I think there were like 3 levels in SCP. One of them is just very docile, where it doesn't really do anything bad. Then there's one that can really change things, and then there's one that's actively hostile to people, or everything. Anyway, let's go ahead and click leave. I can't look at anything else, unfortunately, but you can see there's like stats and stuff about it. Anyway, this thing is now called the Dummy Rabbit. Training standard Dummy Rabbit. Now that you have unlocked the basic information, some of this information is displayed on top of the containment unit. And since we unlocked the work favors, we now know the abnormality prefers attachment work. Let's try ordering an employee to perform attachment work on it. Click on the abnormality containment unit. Alright, so we'll go ahead and pick attachment. Some of the basic information is displayed on this window as well, which might be useful. Please try ordering an employee to do attachment work. You're the boss. Since you unlock the favorite guide for attachment work, the success rate the employee has and the amount of time they need to perform the work is displayed. So it takes 11 ticks. Success rate is very, very high. You can also see the information details of the employee when you hover your mouse over them. This allows you to make mindful decisions when giving the work orders. Please select the employee to do the work. Let me warn you about one more thing. When your employees enter a containment unit to do work with an abnormality, the Q meltdown gauge is filled up by 1 block. When the gauge is filled completely, a Q meltdown will occur in the facility. The number next to the gauge shows how many containment units will be affected. The affected units themselves will have a meltdown alert displayed around them. When the Q meltdown happens, the containment unit has beside the alert indication a timer displayed with a bar on top of it. Normally this would slowly drop. I couldn't read all that, unfortunately. So there's the timer. The meltdown can be taken care of by performing work with the abnormality of the affected containment unit. If the meltdown is not dismissed within the time limit, energy will be lost and the Q counter of the unit will drop to 0. So please try to prevent this. You can see more detailed information about this in the manual at the repeated work penalty article. Whenever a Q meltdown occurs in the facility, the meltdown level increases. The higher the meltdown level, the more containment units that will be affected by Q meltdown. There's a chance of ordeals happening, something. It didn't let me pause. Anyway, I think I told you almost everything about managing abnormalities. If you wish to read more about it, please look it up in the manual. You can consult it at any time during management by pressing F1. Now finish the management of this day by pressing the complete button at top. After finishing management of the day, the employees who performed work will have their stat values increased according to the types of work they performed. After a stat value passes a certain point, like I said, translation, its level will increase. The level of the employee can also increase after having enough total value points. The employees that achieve this are considered promoted and shown in the list below. So Mason has been promoted. And then you'll also receive LOB, or LOB, as a reward for your work according to your management rank. You can increase your management rank by letting more employees survive the day. The higher your management rank, the more LOB you receive. If, however, there is an abnormality on the loose when you finish management on the day, you'll lose some of the LOB you were about to earn. So we got 3 LOB from that. We have one employee, no one died, S rank, 100% survival rate, one got promoted, and this showed the total time it took us to do stuff. You can see which missions you successfully managed to complete on this day in the list here. When you successfully complete a mission, you can conduct research at the start of the next day. After finishing management, you can choose to go to the next day or retry this day. Dead employees and destroyed ego equipment are recovered when you choose retry, but you will lose observations, PE boxes, extracted ego equipment, and the promotions employees receive for that for their work on this day. So yeah, essentially you have a retry for every day. Now please skip to next day and I'll tell you about deployment next. So it's going to automatically take me to the next tutorial. So unfortunately it kind of speeds along. I think spacebar might pause it as well, so I'll try that and see if that helps. But unfortunately I missed some stuff. Yes, go to the next tutorial. And here's hoping my cat doesn't get in the way. When you successfully manage to clear a mission on the previous day, you can conduct research. Proposals for research are then displayed at the start of the day. You can select one and conduct the research by clicking and dragging it to the slot in the lower right, then hitting OK. Please try to do so with this example research proposal. Integrated research, temporal integrated research. These researches that activate assembly summon, geo-visualization, and damage normalization are only temporarily activated for the education. These functions are activated once you finish the required research. Do you recall how much lob you received during management the other day? You can see the total amount of lob you have left over here. During this tutorial phase, I will show you how you can spend your lob, how you can hire new employees, and how you can set them up for deployment. Let's try hiring a new let's start with hiring new employees. Let's try pressing the hire button. Here you can see the information and looks of your soon-to-be employee. You can increase one of the 4 stat values before hiring them by clicking the arrow next to them. If, for example, you wish to hire an employee that has more HP, you can increase its fortitude. Please try doing that. As you increase the stat value of an employee before hiring, the amount of lob required to hire them will increase as well. The higher the value, the more lob it will cost. You may need to review how much lob you are willing to spend on one employee, as well as how much you have left afterward before finalizing your decision. Also, if you want to customize, like change their appearance and stuff, that costs a lob as well. So if you want to like personalize your employees and then watch them die or go insane, it costs you a lob. Now, one lob is not particularly that expensive, but it is something to note. Once you finish setting the employee the way you want, you can press the hire button again to hire the employee. Please do so now. You now have hired a new employee. Let's take a look at its status information. Please click on the employee. Just like during management, the information displayed about the employee here is the same. If you think your employee can use an increase in stat value, you can do so by reinforcing the employee. Press the reinforcement employee button. Just like when hiring new employees, you can increase their stat value here by pressing the arrow next to it. Like before, it'll cost lob when you do this, so keep that in mind. Try increasing the prudence by 1. Now to finish the reinforcement, let's confirm. Your new employee seems ready to be dispatched. Let's try to do this. Click and drag the employee with the primary mouse button over to one of the slots in the central command team. Well done. Now let's give to it some equipment. Remember that we extracted some ego equipment from the Admiralty the previous day. You can give those to the employee. Please press the ego list button. Currently displayed in the center is the list of available ego weapons you have collected and some information about them. Now click on one of the employees you have what's shown in the list on the right to select it. Good. You can now equip ego weapon to the selected employee by pressing one of the empty slots under equipability. So you can see there. got the weapon now. Now let's look at the list of ego suits you have available. Press the please press on the ego suit tab. Like before, you can equip one of these, equip one of the available ego suits by pressing one of the empty slots. There you go. So there you go. Please try equipping the other employee with both an ego weapon and ego suit. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's just, yeah, it pretty much, that was a weird way of saying it, but it pretty much just said equip everybody with everything. Excellent. Now let's head back to the deployment screen. Please press leave. Looks like there's a mission here that you can clear on this day. You don't necessarily have to clear it, but it's recommended since it will allow you to conduct research the next day. Complete abnormality work 3 times. One more thing, if you have any questions about starting the management process again, you can review the manual by hitting the button on top. You can also view the manual from the menu displayed when pressing escape. Next, I will tell you briefly how to deal with emergency situations that can occur during management. When you're ready for that, press the start button. So this will probably go over the queue stuff that I missed. Let me explain how to deal with emergency situations. The number displayed here is called a queue counter. Messed that up. We'll try that again. So I was trying to move, but I hit the left mouse button, which is not what you're supposed to press. So we'll just dive back into the tutorial. Sorry for all the mistakes. But like I said, I wanted to go into this as blind as possible. So yeah, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. So there's the number. Let me explain to you how to deal with emergency situations. The number displayed here is called a queue counter. It will decrease when you do something that violates the guidelines displayed at the managerial works on the abnormalities information screen or fail to avert the queue meltdown in time. So if you do stuff that it doesn't like, or an event, essentially, that you don't resolve in time. Are you wondering now what would happen when the queue counter of an abnormality hits 0? Let's find out. Please select the containment unit and order an employee to do repression work. Suppress regression, accelerate energy polarity. Thinking about the center of the world, training standard W. Whoa. It has escaped. Can you send a response team? Alright. Thanks a lot, Hal. When an abnormality's Q counter hits 0, the abnormality will either escape or use a special ability. This can lead to inconvenient situations. This particular abnormality happens to have to escape under this condition. Employees can't work with it when it's escaped, so you'll need to suppress it. Please select the escaped abnormality, which is right here. Abnormalities have 4 different types of damage they can inflict on employees. Red, which decreases health. White, which decreases sanity, black, which decreases both, and pale, which decreases health by percentages based on the target's maximum HP. Employees equipped with ego weapons can also utilize one of these 4 damage types. Abnormalities also have a set of defenses based on the damage type. Some type of type of damage might be weaker, while others may be fatal to them. You can suppress an abnormality more effectively when your employees attack using the type of damage the abnormality is weak against. This thing is weak against Pale type, which is the weapon type we have right now. This abnormality deals red damage and is weak to white. Conveniently, our employees are all equipped with ego suits, that offer resistance against red damage and carry ego weapons that deal white damage. One more thing, if the employee carries an ego weapon which ego level is higher than the abnormality's risk level, they will deal more damage to the abnormality and take less damage from it. In the current situation, the ego level and abnormality risk levels are the same, so currently this does not apply. Okay, so that's good to know. So there's the types of weapons also influence the combat. When the suppression window is displayed, you can see what type of damage an employee will deal on the target before sending an order, and when you hover your mouse over the employee, you will be able to see their defenses against the 4 types of damage abnormalities can inflict. Now please choose an employee to conduct the suppression of this escape abnormality. We'll pick you, because you're the one that caused the problem in the first place. How? Beating an abnormality, especially when it's on the loose, can be quite shocking and frightening for an employee. Just like when they enter a containment unit to work on an abnormality, it could damage their sanity. If the risk level of the abnormality is high compared to the employee's level, it will cause a greater strain on their mind and lower their SP. So yeah, unfortunately, despite this game's have been out for like a year or something like that, or maybe even longer, they still haven't fixed all the translations or the spelling. Let's just do what we've always been doing. That's as far as I can zoom, by the way. It looks like this abnormality might be a bit too strong to suppress for just one employee. Be careful, by the way, if an employee dies, the ego equipment they are using will be lost as well. Let's order the rest of the employees to help suppress this abnormality. Please select the other 2 employees by clicking and dragging with the primary mouse button. So I can click and drag. Now click this. Now click on the abnormality with the secondary mouse button to immediately order them to suppress it. Oh, I have to right click. It's a lot safer and easier to give orders such as this when you pause, with pause misspelled. You can pause by pressing the icon on the lower left or by pressing the spacebar. Try that again. There we go. I don't know, House kinda got this. Friggin' Thiefall there is not having a good time though. I was just trying to see if I can make the zoom a little bit better. You did well handling the situation. Now let's move these employees to the main room in the department. Select them all by clicking and dragging with their primary mouse button. Boop. While they're selected, click the main room with the secondary mouse button. You can always use this method to move them to other places as well, by the way, such as hallways and other departments. Whoa! Whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? When an employee has lost all of their sanity points, they will panic. A panicked employee will show different behavior from a regular one and cannot be controlled. What they will do depends on their highest level state value. If you wish to learn more about this, please refer to the Employee Panic article in the manual. Please click the panicked employee with the primary mouse button. Employees can be recovered from their panic when their SP is restored to 100%. You can restore their SP by attacking the employee with white or black damage-dealing weapons. Conveniently, all the available employees are equipped with weapons that deal white damage. Please select all available employees and order them to suppress the panicked employee. Need to clean it. Guy's not looking too happy either. Boom. Hit this person with hammers until they feel better. That was excellent. Well done. If you ever get in a situation where you wish to redo, such as reversing the damage that was done, you can do so by pressing escape and click Return to Memory Repository, or by clicking on Retry. When you choose Return to Memory Repository, you can go back to the last day the memory was imprinted to the repository. When you do so, acquired eco equipment and abnormality observation details will remain with you. Retry doesn't do that, but it does let you start from the current day's deployments process. Now, let's call all of the employees back to the main room of the department. You can do this by selecting all of them and using a secondary click on the desired location. But when you just want them all you're in the way, all back in the main room, there's an easier way. Next to the regenerator gauge, there's a return button. You can use this button to call back the employees assigned to the department to the respective main room. Please do so. And this only works per department, which right now we only have one department. Zeta, what's wrong with you? I thought I will never win against an abnormality back then, but I feel like I can now. This wraps up our basic manager education and training sessions. If you have any questions during the management process, please refer to the manual by pressing F1. If you want to know what certain aspects of the user interface mean, hover your mouse over them and take a look at the tooltip displayed. Manager, I wish you luck and good health on your job. Alright. Sorry it took so long. So, I'm gonna go ahead and call this a video. We'll make this like a part 0, essentially. And when we come back, we will start our first day. I'm the Depressed Dio, and this was Lobotomy Corporation. Face the fear, build the future. See you guys next time.